I'm Alexis Lopez, and this is Pop Culture Oppression Obsession, PopCOO, where we look at pop culture through a critical theory and oppression lens. Because, in the words of author and professor Alan G. Johnson, we can't make ourselves part of the solution without seeing clearly how we're connected to the problem. In fact, that is this channel's raison d'etre. In this episode, we're diving into something we discovered while doing our research for the Sherlock Holmes poster episode, linked below, or above if I can figure out how to do that. Now, as in our other episodes, before we begin, there are some concepts that might help to put context to what's going on here within this particular media oppression exploration. The first term is the classic othering, followed by the infamous mascotry, and finally that vintage concept representation. If you like, feel free to take a look at these definitions and explanations. So now, while we were doing some intensive pop culture antiquing, we were a little shocked in the marketing series for the movie Get Hard. Yes, I know this is 4 years ago, a veritable eternity in pop culture time, but we're talking about this because it doesn't seem like anyone else has, at least not in depth, like we like to do here at PopCOO. You see, some pop culture artifacts maintain their corrosive potency far past their freshness dates, as we'll see here in this particular poster series. Well, in that series, whenever Will Ferrell shares the poster with Kevin Hart, a then and now famous African-American comedian, not only is race front and center, but Mr. Hart is portrayed as performing some grooming type services for Will Ferrell. In fact, Kevin Hart seems to be deliberately positioned as Will Ferrell's mascot in this promotional poster series, which is really just off-puttingly weird. We'll show you just how as we progress in this critique. So, take a look. In most of these, whether it's maquillaging on a Sharpie teardrop for Will, or braiding Will's hair for him, or providing Will with a tattoo, Kevin Hart is, albeit supposedly humorously, performing a service for Will Ferrell. Now, that peculiar subservient placement actually serves a really specific and disturbing broader function in our wider culture, especially when we look at this placement from a power and equity and representation perspective, and especially since, I thought at least from the YouTube interviews and stuff, wasn't Kevin Hart supposed to have equal billing with Will Ferrell in this movie? I mean, I guess I could be wrong, but I don't think I'm wrong. Also notice how, in this series of posters, the viewer's focus is deliberately pointed at Will's facial expression and Will's attitude. Thus, it is Will Ferrell's experience and his point of view that is usually the one taking center stage, and the one accepted as the perspective the viewer is supposed to identify with. So, Kevin Hart gets relegated to the status of a spunky little buddy who is there to add humor and levity, a mascot, but not to be regarded as heroic or in any way as the protagonist. In fact, in my favorite poster in this series, Will adopts an "oh God, what is happening to me" type exaggerated expression as Kevin Hart literally becomes an object, the ultimate in othering, serving up his own body as a set of weights, which Will is lifting. Just wow. In the comments below, if you all don't mind, could someone please let us know how this is supposed to be funny to us folks of color? You see, I'm hoping I'm not falling into humorless prick territory, which I sometimes do tend to do. But this is the kind of representation stuff that makes my stomach hurt at 3 a.m., the stuff that really just flat out bothers me, especially in the 21st century. I mean, throughout this series of posters, we are provided with absolutely no context as for why Kevin Hart was even qualified to act as Will Ferrell's intermediary to prison life. We are all just left with the assumption, maybe due to Kevin Hart's skin color or his general societal placement in relation to white Will Ferrell, that he has been endowed with the dubious authority to get Will hard. And that's the other callow joke in these posters. Who needs to get hard? Well, Will Ferrell needs to get hard. Who gets Will Ferrell hard? Why, Kevin Hart gets Will Ferrell hard. Yet again, another service. Now, I want to make it clear that I'm not saying that Will Ferrell is racist per se. But race sure does seem to play a role in his here posters, kinda like in his movies too. We see you, Gator. If you have an idea for a pop culture critique or want to join us in this endeavor, we need the most many voices we can to show up and speak out. Serious. If you can get behind what we're trying to accomplish here, that is truly looking at pop culture through a lens that focuses on representation, on critical cultural theory, on social justice and equity concepts, and on social psychology, then leave us a comment, like this video, and subscribe to our channel. Help us spread the word. Look for us on all the regular social media places as new ones eat old ones, and so on and so on. Email us and let's collaborate. See you the next and every time. pop culture is used as a weapon against us.